Hey, what's up? This is Omega Agent 661, and today we're going to take a deep dive into the SOG Fielder XL. Let's get to it. The SOG Fielder XL is a large budget-friendly manual folding knife that is made in China. Its overall open length is 9.6 inches. Its 7CR17 steel blade measures a whopping 4.13 inches, and it has a really nice polished finish. Yes, this is Twinkie steel, but SOG or SOG did a good job making it look pretty. The handle is a combination of stainless steel bolsters with a silver polished finish and a real wood that, I gotta admit, looks really outdoorsy. I mean, I feel like I could field dress a buffalo when I hold this bad boy. All the metal down to the pins is polished and looks really good. The handle has great contours and feels very good in the hand. Its advertised weight is 8.6 ounces and it comes out of the package in right hand tip down carry. Check out this size comparison. Alright, so now we're going to do a really quick size comparison of the SOG or SOG Fielder XL. Now, as you can tell with this roller sitting here, this is not a small knife, but it is pretty thin for the size, and I really love the contours this bad boy has. Honestly, just feels good. I like it. Not too big in the hand, not too small. Nice thumb wrap. But let's size it up with some popular knives in my collection. First up, we're going to size it up with one of my all-time favorites, the M4 Kershaw Blur. That just snaps into position, and you can see the size difference right there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and go with Spyderco, another M4 blade, another one of my favorites, the Shaman. Spyderco is a larger size folding knife, compares pretty good to that, but as you can see, the SOG is larger. We're gonna go with Kershaw, and I got a couple Kershaws. We'll go with the good. I want to say this is a large one, but it's pushing the large range. The Kershaw Flitch. It's not small, it's not medium, but I wouldn't say it's large. It's a good size. Smaller. Another Kershaw, one I've been carrying around, I'm starting to like a lot. Gonna do a review on it pretty soon. Kershaw Acclaim. Now this knife could be classified as a medium knife, and you can see it is a lot smaller than the Fielder XL. So now I gotta bust out what may have been the biggest knife in my collection if I did not have this SOG, and that's this bad boy, Microtech. So commonly, ooh, gotta love that snap. Let's see how the Microtech sizes up. And as you can see, very, very similar size, but the SOG is just bigger. SOG or SOG, let me know how you guys say it. I like to say SOG. SOG just doesn't sound right. It sounds like soggy or, moist. Certain words that I don't like. And for those of you who might be looking for a large folder to replace a fixed blade knife in their collection, I wanted to go ahead and do a size comparison with my favorite knife in my collection, my Benchmade Bushcrafter. As you can see, that Folder XL is almost the same size. I mean, it's close. It's close. The Fielder XL might be just a little bit bigger than even that knife. Let's dive into some of its design details, starting with the blade. This knife blade is a modern take on the clip point and looks aggressive and tactical, and it has a great hollow grind. It has a good belly for skinning and prepping food, and the clip point works great for piercing and stabbing. An interesting choice by SOG to go with only the one thumb stud on the blade and leaving the other side of the blade with an exposed hole. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I guess I could take it or leave it. The SOG logo and fielder name are laser etched just in front of the thumb stud and looks great. After almost 4 years of use, the laser etching still looks sharp and detailed, which is really impressive. The mirror finish on this knife looks great, but over time it has developed scratches from use and sharpening. There's no jimping on this blade, but the handle has a nice thumb ramp and finger choil that ensure a good grip. The stainless steel bolsters have the same mirror finish as a knife blade and incorporate a backslash-like groove for added visual flair. The vertical wood grain scales are a classy touch that look and feel great. Standard barrel pins keep the back end of this handle together, and the width of this package is actually slim enough to allow for EDC use. Surprise, surprise, right? The Fielder XL comes with a deep carry pocket clip that is also highly polished and has a unique swooping design with a cool bullet-shaped cutout down the middle of the clip, and then another little circle cutout at the head of the clip. The pocket clip is actually advertised as being able to be used as a money clip. I really love all the extra details that SOG incorporated for this knife. All in all, a classy and functional design, and you know what? We could all use a little classing up every now and then. The locking mechanism on the SOG Fielder XL is a standard and reliable stainless steel liner lock with a stainless steel frame. I like the jimping on the liner and have not had any trouble whatsoever with the locking mechanism. It's been working just fine. So it looks good, but how does it perform? Well, that's the big question, right? Unfortunately, it did not perform as well as I would have liked. The 7CR17 steel was sharp enough out of the package, but it quickly dulled and even developed teeny tiny nicks and chips. And I mean, that's really disappointing when I'm not cutting anything harder than meat. When I put it through knife testing, it did not perform very well at all. It was frustrating how quickly the knife had dulled. Twinkie steel may be easy on the wallet, but it definitely held this knife up from performing up to its expectations. This knife looks so good though that I decided to sharpen it with my Work Sharp field sharpener and give it another go. On the second go around, the freshly sharpened knife immediately performed better and was able to slice through the same material it had totally failed to slice through before, and it even sliced pretty deeply into leather. Unfortunately, the cheap steel held it back as I couldn't get it sharp enough to cleanly slice paper, and it had a lot of trouble gutting a rainbow trout. Basically, you're gonna need to touch up the blade edge often to get the best performance out of it. So if you take this out camping or hunting, bring along your sharpener. When sharp though, the knife did process food really well. It just got a great design and feel. I trimmed tri-tip steak, slice and dice fruit and veggies. It was all very easy, and its large blade makes cutting through larger produce, such as large yellow onions, way easier. Despite the limitations of the cheap steel, the build quality on this knife isn't bad at all. First, let's go through a couple of the negatives. The centering is definitely off on this knife, and if you look closely, you can see gaps between the wood and the frame of this knife. The mirror polish looked great, but did develop some scratching, but you know, that's not really a con to me, as you guys all know I like the look of a well-used knife. Now for the positives. The knife still opens easily with a quick flick of the wrist, and nothing is loose or falling apart. All the bolts are still tight, and despite heavy use processing food and being left wet, dirty, or even covered in lemon juice, it has never developed rust. Very impressive. Overall, I think the build quality is good. Which brings us to value. All in with tax, I only spent around $25 on this knife, and I have to admit that I think I got a great return on my investment. It has a lifetime warranty, it's been durable, reliable, and looks great. I've used this knife countless times at barbecues, camping and fishing, and even when prepping food at home, and I never worry about it rusting. Sure, the Twinkie still sucks, it really does, but it makes this knife affordable, and that matters to a lot of people, and in the real world use, it's been a workhorse. Unfortunately, this exact version of the SOG Fielder or SOG Fielder is discontinued. But you can buy other Fielder models for around $25 at bladehq.com. So now we move on to my knife review rating score. This rating system is something I came up with to help me quantify and rate my knife collection. It has a lot of different categories such as blade steel, design, performance, etc. So let's get to it. So the first category rates the blade steel. This blade uses bona fide Twinkie steel that duels easily and is hard to get razor sharp, well at least hard for me, and for that the score suffers. I gave it a 2 out of 10. Next up is handles / scales. I love the look and feel of this knife's scales. I like the wood and polished bolster, and the knife is contoured in a way that makes me feel tingly all over. Oh yeah, all over. And besides the wood though, this knife doesn't use any premium materials, and even the wood probably isn't anything exotic. So, you know, a little bit of a buzzkill, but I just love the design. So I gave it a score of 4 out of 10. The next category is value. I feel this knife is a really good value. I know the Twinkie steel sucks, but this knife has been a workhorse, looks great, and has a lifetime warranty. I gave it a 5 out of 10. Moving on, this category grants up to 5 extra points for build quality, coating / paint, and hardware. The build quality is good for a mass-produced knife. It opens and closes fluidly, and nothing is falling apart. But that should be a given. I mean, you ain't gonna buy a knife and expect it to only last a year, right? Anyways, I do like the mirror polish finish, but aside from that, there was nothing special about the hardware. I gave this knife only 1 out of 5 possible extra points. Next up is performance. So I never go into the individual slicing, chopping, piercing, and slashing extra points. You know, I never do if you watch this channel. But over the years, this knife has performed well. The Twinkie steel was its downfall, and the constant need for sharpening hurt its score, but I honestly enjoy using this knife. In the end, I gave this knife a 4 out of 10. The next category is pocket presence / sheath. Man, say that 5 times fast. For such a large knife, the Fielder XL is surprisingly light and thin and actually feels okay in the pocket. But its deep carry pocket clip is limited to only right hand tip down carry, and let's just face it, it's a large knife to be carrying every day. I gave it a 2 out of 5. Finally, we come up to our last category, extra points. This category grants up to 5 points based on subjective style, special features, and design. The SOG Fielder XL looks great in my honest opinion. Its design details are cool, and the mirror polish finish and wood look great together. It may be a budget knife, but it doesn't look cheap. I really did love the design, and I awarded it 4 extra points out of 5. So in the end, the SOG Fielder XL scored a total of 31 out of 75. Ooh, man, that Twinkie steel really hurt the score of this knife. And this is a knife that I actually really like to use. Now that's a bummer. So to sum things up, I think SOG did a good job on the SOG Fielder XL. The overall build quality is good for the price, and I love how this thing looks. I definitely would purchase this knife again and would recommend it for us crash coursers on a budget. And I know there gotta be a lot of them out there. It can't just be me out here pinching pennies and nickels and dimes to save up for all my knife collection. Anyway, that's it for this week's episode of Survival Crash Course. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Omega Agent 661 signing out.